Hello, my name is Sebastian Herrera. Resting atop an icy hospital bed, David Scott Wallace remembers the time when he used to be happy. Over the course of 6 months, he has suffered immeasurable agony. Every medication has been tried, yet nothing seems to work. It truly is time for this pain to disappear. While many people argue that euthanasia is indeed an immoral practice that goes against the Hippocratic Oath and a person's right to a dignified life, the three main arguments for euthanasia are the following: it frees up medical supplies, relieves suffering, and it also has an ability to give a person a dignified death in times of immense need. Therefore, patients who are in this immense need and extreme pain with no hope of living have the right to select euthanasia as an option. For my first argument, medical supplies in hospitals have always been a great concern. And with the euthanasia, it has an ability to free up medical supplies, beds, and things of that nature. Patients suffering from grave illnesses require a lot of attention and equipment to be treated. However, through euthanasia, the greater good of two patients may be met, with the sad loss of one, the great opportunities that another one may experience, with new medical supplies being opened up to them, so that they may have a greater chance of survival in any illness that they may have. Many medical staff members report that by ending the lives of someone else, sadly, new beds are opened up. Since these hospital beds are needed, the people who may not be receiving them initially may now have the chance to receive them. Everyone has the right to treatment, but sometimes, in our world, sadly, not everyone has the opportunity to get the treatment that they may need. So, euthanasia being the mercy killing of one person, as I have stated, new life opportunities for another are opened up. In fact, a study conducted by the Children's Hospital found that the cost of keeping a patient alive is averaged at around $2,000 to $4,000 daily. And that is money and supplies that could be going to another patient. In fact, the FDA has long been fearful of supply shortages in hospitals or medical care facilities across the United States. And through euthanasia, although it may seem dire or sad, or it's not a great situation, some good could come out of it. Humans beings often must endure many struggles, and because of this, they have the right to decide when they can put an end to their traumatic lives, their pains, their afflictions. And as for my argument too, many patients in ICUs suffer immeasurable amounts of chronic suffering. They are constantly just in despair. They're constantly depressed, sad, and just because of the immense pain that they may feel. The desperate cries for help, in their dreadful states, it's just no way to live. They're calling out. They really just want to go because, euthanasia is a painless killing, and they really just cannot suffer any further. So euthanasia may be given to a family member by the family. This is called non-voluntary, and this is basically when they are in a vegetative state. It's like brain dead. And there's also another form of euthanasia. It's voluntary, where a person chooses to not live anymore because of their great pain and all that stuff. And studies have actually shown that patients who request euthanasia actually consciously request ending their lives. They ask people, please, can I please get rid of my pain, please, because I can't be here anymore. And relieving someone from their great pains is actually a moral rule that we stand by, and it must be held up because of its universality to everyone. Everyone has that right. giving people the choice to end their lives when, I mean, some can barely even walk, and they honestly require an oxygen tank to breathe. They require catheters, all that stuff. Truly no way to live. Finally, for my last argument, is that all people have the right to a dignified death. People going through immense trauma, everyone has the right to a dignified life. But people going through immense trauma, they have an inalienable right, right? They have that right that can never be taken away, can never be stripped away, to end their own lives. People have the freedom of choice. Euthanasia being the mercy killing, it's painless, and people go, right? They don't have to suffer anymore. It truly makes it a justified death. Yes, it may seem sad, but its justifications completely overpower its moral obligations. In fact, its morality is actually beneficial, and it's accepted by many. Now, however, many argue that patients who choose euthanasia may be in a troubled mind state, or that euthanasia is immoral because it goes against the Hippocratic Oath. Or people argue that it goes against the person's right to a dignified life, but this is just simply not the case. As for dignified life, in the same manner, there is a person's right to a dignified death. As for the Hippocratic Oath, being thousands of years old, many medical professions see that as it is pretty outdated, although many still follow it. Its outdated nature, it clearly talks about against euthanasia, but nowadays with the afflictions that people see, where there really is no cure, we have progressed, and we now believe that everyone has a right to choice, to do what they want with their lives, right? As for being immoral, or that people may choose it because they are not in a right mental state, this is simply not the case. Studies have actually found that depression and anxiety don't it's like a small percentage of people that actually choose that, right? They're that they're actually depressed and anxious. In fact, it is because of great pain and anguish that they actually choose euthanasia. Many studies have found that that's where their desire to die stems from. Finally, suffering patients such as David Scott Wallace do have the right to end their agony. Constantly spending nights in cold hospital beds with no one else is no way to live. Its ability to free up medical supplies, alleviate suffering, and its ability to give a person a right to a dignified death makes euthanasia a worth it cause. And it is time that people stop looking at it as a bad thing, and in fact see it as an opportunity for some good to come out of a bad situation. Thank you.